So we are going to read Into the Unknown. I know it sounds a lot like we're watching the movie Frozen, but this is Into the Unknown, Above and Below. And if you think about it, Frozen was talking about going off into the unknown where nobody really understood the magical river. And she didn't know what she was going to find. I mean, there could be trolls, there could be like ice monsters that would try to kill her. That same thing happened with Picard. And you can see that here is the balloon he used. And he developed it, he designed it, he put himself in mortal danger. Like mortal means like your life, to end his life, the danger of ending his life. So one of the things that we're going to focus on as we read through this text, or as you read through this text, is we're going to look, I want you to focus on text features. So we've got some diagrams, we've got some highlighted words, we have more diagrams. This one's super cool. We've got, it's broken up into sections too. So you can tell that these paragraphs and the ones before are separated from that one, from that section. So here, this whole section starts with the big B, all right? And we know that it's almost like it's kind of like a mini chapter. And here, this section is separated with the starts with paragraph 10 is separated by another large letter, capitalized letter. This is like breaking up short stories into little chapters. But your job as a reader is to figure out, okay, while you're reading, what is the difference between this first section and this second section? What did a huge amount of time change? Was the first one all about action and adventure, and the second one is about planning the next adventure? So that's your job as a reader to figure out in your head. Another important thing to know, there's such cool pictures. Another important thing to know is that this is an informational text. And that means it's really there to teach you something, to give you information. And authors of informational texts can present their ideas in a whole bunch of different ways. There are a whole bunch of different ways to structure the text. They could be sequential, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all of that happen. It could be chronological. This year, this happened, and then a couple of years later, this happened. Or in the beginning of the morning, this happened, and at lunch, this happened. That's still chronological because chrono means time. They could be cause and effect. It could be compare and contrast. And whichever one the author chooses to do is important because it helps you understand what's going to happen next, or what's probably going to happen next. If they're telling you this huge war happened and thousands of people died, you can then assume, because you've read many texts where cause and effect happen, or problem and solution happen. So you can assume you're either going to next read about how badly it affected the whole country to have so many fewer workers and parents to raise their kids, or the text is going to all of a sudden say, oh, but there was a solution for that. They opened up immigration and so many more people came in to replace the lost workforce. So it helps you understand what to look out for. Content area words so you may read some words in here that are really just like science-y words, but we're going to explore some of those words before we leave you. And so I want you to look at this, at the title page, and I want you to look at the title, Into the Unknown, Above and Below. And then you've got this picture of Picard's balloon going up. All right, so what do you think it's going to be about? Let's set a purpose. We know that it's called Into the Unknown. So, card or explorer is going somewhere new, and they don't know what's out there. And we can assume it could be dangerous. They are going above. What do we think they're going above? It looks like they could, just based on the picture, they could just be going above the earth. Of the earth, maybe. But then it has, and below. Like below the surface of the earth. It sounds like the same explorer went under the earth, under the ground too. All right, so we've got that cleared. Now let's look at some of our vocabulary. We don't have that much. We go from vast all the way through forage, so let's pop on over. Vast. Vast is when it's all spread out, but it's huge. And you can have a vast mountain range that just goes on and on and on and on for seemingly forever, just like this amazing grass field, probably in the Midwest. It's super large. They always say the sky is bigger in Texas, and I have to say, coming from a state originally with at least rolling hills, the sky here does look a lot better, a lot bigger, and even in the hill country. And I think it's because the trees are shorter here, but I'm not sure. But the sky is vast in Texas, or it appears that way. Mariners. These are, so mar is a root word for like sea, an ocean, mar. It's also what you would think of in Spanish. El mar is the sea. So here, a mariner is basically a dude or dudette that goes on the sea. People who navigate ships, such as sailors. Cosmic. Cosmic makes you think of stars. That doesn't, you don't have to picture this exact thing, but if there's a cosmic blasts are things that come from outer space. So cosmic has to do with being beyond Earth and its atmosphere. Then we get to ascend. Ascend is going up. Wait, yeah, just like the picture. Is to go up. I hope you all have the chance, by the way, to go to a hot air balloon festival. They are so cool. And then principal. Principal has a lot of different meanings. This isn't principal, P-A-L at the end, because that's what Mr. Drummond is. For hill, this is principal, L-E. So it could be the first thing, the principal reason could be like the first reason or the most basic reason. Or the principle is also a rule that explains how something in the natural world works. So it's kind of like a natural law in a way. The rotation of Earth is a scientific principle of explaining why day and night happen. And then our last one is forged. You hear, this is how they make old weapons out of iron. And today we still forge things, but we do it like in a factory. But when you forge things, you have to heat up the metal and you have to pound it into the exact shape. Thor and his family would forge all these amazing weapons like Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. So I hope that was the right word. Yeah, so they use a furnace. All right. So I hope y'all have a really great time reading this. It's really interesting. And I love how the story shifted midway. So pay attention to it's like that next mini chapter within this story. And think about, well, why did they make that choice? All right, I'll see y'all later. And so will Mr. Wilder.